Marvin Hagler was born on May 23, 1954, in Newark, New Jersey, to Robert Sims and Ida Mae Hagler. "We lived in the ghetto in Newark where the rats were bigger than I was," Hagler said. In 1967, race riots hit his city with his mother forbidding him to go near the windows. Bullets shattered through the home, and the family was forced to hide under the beds, with no one leaving the apartment for 3 days. 2 years later, another race riot broke out, convincing Hagler's mother to move the family to Brockton, Massachusetts. Hagler dropped out of school, working in a factory to help his mother make ends meet, before he was beat up in a street fight with a local boxer named Dornell Wigfall. The fight inspired Hagler to seek instruction in the sweet science. He began hanging out at the Petronelli brothers' gym for a few months before telling one of the brothers that he wanted to be a fighter. Goody and Pat Petronelli were childhood friends with Brockton's favorite son, heavyweight champion Rocky Marciano. Goody was a retired Navy veteran, while Pat was a former amateur boxer who managed Goody's pro career. In 1969, they planned to open a gym with Marciano, but the now former heavyweight champion died in a plane crash. The gym struggled, but the Petronellis persevered, and Hagler soon became their top student. He wasn't anything special at first, Goody said, but he worked harder than everyone else. He was practicing the moves at home in the mirror. I'd tell him to go 3 rounds, he'd go 6. Always, it was the extra mile for him. It wasn't long before the Petronellis knew they had something. They entered Hagler in novice division fights, but he soon became too good and went straight to the open division for tournaments. By 1973, Hagler won the New England Golden Gloves title before making it to the semifinals of the National Golden Gloves. He lost the decision to Dale Grant, a defeat that left him feeling dejected. "He hurt me," Hagler admitted. "He closed one of my eyes in the first round, and I was boxing with half vision. But you better believe I stung him a couple of times too. I just needed a little more time, and I'm sure I would have knocked him out." Hagler continued to learn quickly, winning the 1973 National AAU title by scoring an upset over Navy champion Russell Fickling. He was named the outstanding fighter of the tournament and seemed to be a sure bet to make the Olympics in 3 years. Not wanting to wait that long, Hagler decided to turn pro. "I'm working as a machinist apprentice," Hagler said, "and I'm too old. You can't eat trophies. I didn't have any money, and I needed to work." Hagler turned pro in May of 1973. Goody was the trainer while Pat worked as his manager. The brothers booked him on the fight cards of Boston promoter Sam Silverman, where Hagler won 14 straight fights before he was given the first of many write-ups in the Boston Globe. One writer described him as a new kind of American dilemma, the greatest prospect to come out of New England in several years, yet his impressive performances were going unnoticed. "Keep on truckin'" was Hagler's only reply to his lack of recognition. In August of 1974, Hagler faced his biggest test, going up against the undefeated 1972 gold medalist Sugar Ray Seals. Hagler was a 3-1 underdog, but administered a beating to the favored Seals. Hagler closed Seals' left eye by the second round and won an easy decision. 3 months later, the two rematched in Seals' native Seattle. The Petronellis were surprised that Seals wanted a return bout so soon, but agreed to the fight. Hagler floored Seals in the early going, with the referee ruling it as a slip. Seals got up and fought inspired, outboxing Hagler in some exchanges before losing steam in the late rounds. Hagler's strong finish allowed him to earn a draw, the first blemish on his record. But even Seals' own supporters felt that Hagler deserved the decision. Hagler began calling out contenders like Tony Licata and Vinny Curto, as well as WBC middleweight champion Rodrigo Valdez. But Hagler still wasn't making enough money from boxing and had a job offer set up with the city of Brockton to work in the water department. On the day he was to report, the city withdrew their job offer. "I needed work and I was qualified," Hagler said. "I took all the tests and filled in the papers, but I didn't get the job." Hagler continued to supplement his income with the Petronellis' construction business, priding himself on being the best cement worker in Massachusetts. The man would say to some guy, "You think you can work? Let's see you keep up with Hagler," Marvin said. Meanwhile, in the ring, Hagler faced an unexpectedly tough test from Detroit's Jimmy the Sugar Demon Owens. Owens was an eccentric figure. He entered the ring dressed like a voodoo priest, wearing shades and smoking a pipe. His style was awkward, but Hagler won a split decision, with some believing Owens stole the fight. For the rematch a month later, Owens was installed as a 7-5 favorite. The fight was even for the first 5 rounds, with Hagler starting to dominate in the 6th. a round in which Owens began repeatedly holding Hagler by the neck. After 4 stern warnings, the referee had enough and disqualified Owens. "I didn't want it to end like that," Hagler said. "I had him going this time. I wanted to knock him out." On December 20th, 1975, Hagler faced Johnny Mad Baldwin, a bronze medalist at the 1968 Olympics. When Hagler's promoter Sam Silverman made the fight, Hall of Fame trainer Angelo Dundee called to warn him, "Your man Hagler is going to get knocked out." But Hagler once again upset the experts, winning a tough but unanimous decision. In January of 1976, Hagler made the first of several trips to the Spectrum in Philadelphia to face some of the city's notoriously tough contenders. First up was Bobby Boogaloo Watts, the 5th-ranked middleweight in the world. The fight started with a fast pace. Hagler opened a cut on Watts' left eyebrow and scored heavily in the opening rounds. By the 6th round, Watts was in survival mode, holding Hagler excessively, which drew disapproval from the crowd. But the majority decision was announced in favor of Watts, and the fans showed their disapproval by throwing pennies into the ring. "We heard about Philadelphia decisions," Goody Petronelli said, "but we never expected anything like this." Less than 2 months later, Hagler returned to the Spectrum as a replacement for Vinny Curto, who was scheduled to face Willie the Worm Monroe. Working behind a jab that scored bullseyes all evening, Monroe bloodied up Hagler's nose and lumped up his face en route to a 10-round decision victory. Hagler blamed his poor performance on the fact that he had bronchitis, but accepted that Monroe was the better man that night. "It was a tough decision to accept," Hagler said, "but an honest one. I can see a great future ahead of me, but I still have a few things to learn." Monroe's trainer George Benton commended Hagler for not quitting. "He had opportunities all through the fight, and no one would have blamed him," Benton said, "but he's one tough kid. He's going to be outstanding." Hagler rebounded, winning 2 more bouts before returning to the Spectrum 6 months later to face Eugene Cyclone Hart, needing a victory to reestablish himself as a rising star. Hagler batted Hart throughout, making his opponent quit after the 8th round. The impressive performance led to Hagler being shut out of televised events. He was not invited to Don King's lucrative United States Boxing Championships, nor was he invited to Don Elbaum's middleweight tournament. Hagler's team continued to call for bouts with local favorites like Vinny Curto and Jackie Smith, both of whom shrewdly avoided money-making bouts with Hagler. Former heavyweight champion Joe Frazier warned Hagler that he had 3 strikes against him. He was a southpaw, he was black, and he could punch. "Maybe I should have been born a right-handed sissy," Hagler replied. But Frazier's words were becoming prophetic. Hagler had no choice but to set his sights back on the middleweights of Philadelphia. "That's where the action is," Hagler said. "That's where I can learn." In February of 1977, Hagler received a rematch against Willie the Worm Monroe. Hagler had dreams of facing the only opponent that legitimately defeated him. "I wanted it so bad," Hagler said. "I could taste it." With the impressive performance, fighters now refused to face him outright or price themselves out. In June of 1977, Hagler appeared on the same fight card as Olympic hero Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard earned over $12,000 for his 3rd fight, while Hagler's biggest payday to date was $3,500. Insiders blamed his management team, seeing the Petronelli brothers as outsiders with no money and even less connections. One of their prized heavyweights, Dino Dennis, felt the same way and defected to someone else who offered more of both. "We couldn't compete with these people money-wise," Pat Petronelli said. "We told Marvin, all that glitters isn't gold." Hagler listened and remained loyal. Promoter Sam Silverman died and was replaced by Rip Valenti, who immediately promised bigger fights on the horizon. Valenti began paying opponents double and sometimes triple to face the avoided Hagler. The Petronellis later hired an attorney named Steve Wainwright, who was prepared to go to federal court to bring suit against boxing's sanctioning bodies who were depriving Hagler of a shot at the title. Meanwhile, inside the ring, Hagler continued his ascent. In August of 1977, he faced Willie the Worm Monroe in a rubber match. Hagler once again wanted to prove that their first fight was a fluke because of his bronchitis. "I wanted Monroe to remember my name for the rest of his life," Hagler said.
The weights are comparatively the same, 160 to Monroe for Monroe to 159 for Hagler. Oh, the Worm walked into a left hook. In trouble and grabs a hold of Marvelous Marv Hagler. 130 to go in round two. Oh, there's the... Oh, Lord, he really hit his neck, Bobby. He got a good right in there, but boy, did he hit his head on the turnbuckle. He's up. That's it. The bout is stopped, and I'm glad Tommy Reed jumped in. Oh, Lord, did he unload? Really concerned about his neck, Bobby, when he...
I'm fighting the 24th of next month in Boston, and all I want to say, I know that Vinny Curtle's here in the house, and Vinny Curtle, I'm going to destroy you! I'm going to destroy you!
After several years of back and forth, Vinny Curto finally signed to face Hagler in September of 1977. Curto was so frightened at the prospect of fighting Hagler that he flew to Seattle a day before the bout was scheduled to take place in Boston. Once there, he called promoter Rip Valenti and told him he couldn't fight. Panicking, Valenti tried bribing Curto with more money, but the fighter refused. Reporters stated that Curto was another victim of the Marvin Hagler fight paralysis, a disease spreading across the middleweight division. In November of 1977, Carlos Monzon had vacated the middleweight crown. Hagler faced off against the undefeated Mike Colbert, with the winner presumably to get a shot at the new middleweight king, Rodrigo Valdez. But the soap opera continued for Hagler as promoter Bob Arum had other plans. "We never guaranteed that to the winner," Arum said. "Instead, Valdez will fight Hugo Coro, Vito Antuofermo, or Tony Chiavarini." Rival promoter Rip Valenti protested by enlisting the aid of the Massachusetts State Boxing Commission. The commission declared that the bout between Hagler and Colbert would be contested for the Massachusetts World Middleweight Championship in a bout scheduled for 15 rounds. The fight with Colbert was close. Hagler pressed his opponent in the early rounds, but in the middle rounds he stopped pursuing, allowing the slick boxing Colbert back into the fight. In the 11th, the tide turned, with Hagler landing a heavy combination, breaking Colbert's jaw, and stopping him in the 12th. Hagler returned to the treadmill of taking on any willing opponent while he waited for his title shot. He stopped contenders Kevin Finnegan and Doug Demings before champion Valdez fell victim to Hugo Coro in an upset. Coro then became the latest title holder to avoid facing Hagler. Now seen as the uncrowned champion, Hagler went back to Philadelphia, this go-around taking on Bad Benny Briscoe. The fight was dubbed as the Battle of the Baldies, although Hagler later admitted that he felt stuck with the style. "I don't really like being bald," Hagler said. "It gets chilly in the ring without any hair." Briscoe was now 35 years old and described by one reporter as, quote, "being washed up so many times, he has become boxing's most valuable piece of driftwood." The fight itself confirmed that Briscoe was the past, while Hagler was the future, as the younger man seemed to always be one step ahead of his older foe in winning a one-sided decision. Hagler remained busy, taking out the durable Willie Warren 3 months later. A month earlier, Warren had lost a non-title decision to champion Hugo Coro, a bout that many judged him as the winner. In February of 1979, Hagler faced Sugar Ray Seals for the third time. If Hagler won, he was promised a title shot from the winner of the Hugo Coro-Vito Antuofermo fight. Hagler, however, had heard it all before. He worried that he was becoming another Jersey Joe Walcott or Archie Moore, fighters who were advanced in age by the time they received their title shots. "I don't want to die in a gym," Hagler said. "I don't want to be like Walcott, who didn't get a shot until he was 35, and then how long could he stay there?" Hagler wasted no time against Seals, stopping him in the first round. But the title shot once again remained elusive, as an injury to Coro postponed his bout with Antuofermo. Once again forced to wait, Hagler bided his time, taking out Journeyman until finally Vito Antuofermo gave him a shot at the middleweight title. Hagler controlled the early rounds, cutting Antuofermo's left eye in the third and his nose in the sixth. But by the middle rounds, Hagler seemed to tire, and Antuofermo's aggression earned him some rounds. Antuofermo had a strong 13th round, but Hagler took the final two. One reporter described Antuofermo's face as someone who looked as if he shaved with a window fan. Despite Hagler clearly winning the final round, one judge scored it for Antuofermo, and the other two scored it even. The majority of viewers saw a clear win for Hagler, but the bout was declared a draw. Hagler demanded an immediate rematch, but 4 months later, Antuofermo elected to face Alan Mincher instead, losing his title by decision. Now back on the waiting list, Hagler vowed to come back meaner, but 3 months later, he uncharacteristically missed weight for a bout against Lucif Hamani. Weighing in at 1.5 pounds over the agreed amount, Hagler blamed the excess pounds on indulging on a plate of Portland, Maine's famous home fries before the bout. 2 months later, Hagler signed to face Marcos Geraldo, but his opponent wasn't allowed to leave his native Mexico. Instead, Bobby Watts was brought in as a replacement. This gave Hagler the opportunity to erase the only unavenged loss on his record.
There is nothing ordinary about Marvin Hagler, the boxer. There's a great deal of craftsmanship that shows. Now, you have a reputation as being a big banger, but to study the style and technique, you're a boxer.
Sure, I figured that I'm both, and matter of fact, I think what it is I just adapt to my opponent, and whatever my opponent does, I try to put it in that right perspective. Maybe if he's a runner, then I have to bob and weave and maybe go after him. Maybe if he's coming in, I can change up automatically like this and start to box. I feel as though that I am very well gifted with the boxing ability, and I just try to put it all to sense and show the people that I am a good, skilled fighter, and just trying to look the best I can.
You can't afford at this point, with the possibility of another title opportunity in front of you, a mistake. In other words, you've got to have a good fight. I'm sure everybody'd be curious as to what did Marvin Hagler do last night, and how did you spend the morning before you came to the bout today?
Well, I just ate breakfast and whatever, and I'm still trying to relax. Can't wait really for the fight to get on the way. At the time when I fought Bobby Watts was back in '76. It was my first big fighting a contender. Well, now I am the #1 contender, and I feel as though that I have fought some of the best contenders in the world. All the fighters that I've fought recently for the last 4 years have been contenders. So now it's nothing new to me, and I'm going to go in here. And if he makes a mistake, like I say, it can go one, and it can go just 10 rounds.
Well, every contender, quote, that has appeared on the scene, you've literally beaten everybody there is to beat except the champion.
Well, I have to keep winning, and I have to keep looking impressive and looking good behind. This game is so funny. One loss, and it can put you way back, And you work so hard, really trying to accomplish what you want in life and to keep in the limelight. One thing that I'm very happy about is that I'm finally starting to get the recognition now that I deserve. People all over now are starting to recognize me. So it feels good when people say, how you feeling, champ? And a lot of people felt as though that I won that fight, and I thank them for it. And I just want to show them next time that it will be different.
And there is more to your profession than just chasing the dollar. There's more to it than money.
Sure. Like I said, it's that title. It means more to me than money, I think.
Hard right hand by Hagler. Appeared to hurt Watts. Another right hand by Hagler. Watts is down. Just about the halfway point of the second round, Watts hurt by a right hand and then down by a right hand. Now let's see if Bobby Watts can run himself out of trouble. Time's passed. His legs have been suspect when he's been hurt. His recuperative powers are about to be tested right here as Hagler puts him down. It was two right hands that appeared to do most of the damage. Watts cannot sit on the ropes with Hagler. He's got to get himself out in the open. I don't believe he can survive if he sits back in there. Hagler pacing himself, doesn't want to get too wild. Remember, the bell can save you under Maine rules. Watts trying to survive the round, now beginning to apparently stabilize a little bit. to beat Hagler away from him. Coming off the rope, a half a minute to go. Watts hurt by a left hand. He's in trouble again. There's the left of the face. 20 seconds to go. It's been all Hagler in this round. Watts is going to make it through number 2. Goes down, but the bell can save you under main rule. Fight's over.
After knocking Watts down, Hagler pleaded for his opponent to get back up. "I wasn't through with him," Hagler said. "I didn't want to hurt the guy, but I've been trying to avenge that loss for 4 years, and I didn't want to feel gypped." Less than a month later, Hagler faced Geraldo, getting a tougher-than-expected battle, but winning a unanimous decision. After the bout, Hagler married Bertha Walker. He came into the marriage with one son, Marvin Jr., from a previous relationship, while Bertha had 2 children of her own, which Hagler adopted. Now officially a family man, Hagler received his second shot at the middleweight title, traveling to the Wembley Arena to take on middleweight champion Alan Mincher. "I'm not going to try to win the title this time," Hagler said. "I'm going to take it. There was no easy talk this time. There was only work, destruction, and destroy. That is my only talk." The Petronellis anticipated a tough battle from Mincher, speculating that the bout may go down in history as one of the best middleweight fights in modern times. Hagler was certainly facing the most hostile crowd in his career, as the English fans booed both the national anthem and Hagler during the introduction. But Hagler wasn't intimidated. He didn't want a repeat of the Atuafermo fight. He would not leave the decision in the hands of the judges.
Mincher is a clever boxer. He will have to be that. Hagler is a good boxer and a superior puncher with both hands. We are 55 seconds into round 1. Hagler scored. Hagler scored and scored again with a short chopping right that hurt Mincher. 1 minute 5 seconds into the round. Briefly, Mincher appeared hurt 1 minute 5 seconds into the round from a short chopping Hagler right. But Mincher, during the last half of this round, has been boxing effectively. And there, a good left. 10 seconds to go in round 1. A round that promises a good action fight. We're back live via the satellite from London, England. Round 2 just underway. Alan Mincher to the left, Marvin Hagler to the right. The first round in the early going dominated by Hagler, in the late going dominated by Mincher, as Mincher began to box more successfully, keep Hagler off, and yet score with his own jabs. Hagler with a good left and a right. Mincher says, "Come on, fight!" And Mincher is leaving himself open with this tactic. Hagler scored with a good, quick combination. Blood pouring out of Mincher's nose now, pouring out. Mincher fighting feverishly, trying to get to Hagler and hurt him. The blood going into Mincher's mouth. You saw him wipe off his nose just now with his glove. Mincher susceptible to cuts. Well, this one is a bloody nose. There may indeed be a cut under Mincher's left eye. Oh, a right leg scored against Mincher. Hagler looking very, very good. Very sharp. 35 seconds left in round 2. Minter wants to mix it up, slug it out with Hagler, give him a little chance. Which is exactly what Minter is doing, and the crowd is responding. We are coming to the end of round 2. We're back live in London, England. Stanford has defeated Oklahoma in college football 31-14, but this is the middleweight championship fight, and Marvin Hagler is off to a rousing start. He had a big second round, though Minter is fighting back, or was determinedly. You see Hagler scoring well with his left. Remember, Hagler can fight either way, southpaw or righty. He has the ability, thus, to confuse an opponent if he can make it work. Sometimes a fighter gets mixed up trying to change from one stance to another. 45 seconds into round 3. Minter nose bloodied in the second round. Blood gushing forth. Again the right lead. That's the second time. There are cuts under both Minter eyes now. That susceptibility to the cut that we referred to. There's blood all over the left eye. Hagler is fighting his fight and making it work. The mouthpiece out. Minter's mouthpiece out. Minter is hurt. Minter is ready to go. It's only the third round and Hagler is all over him. Fighting without his mouthpiece now. Minter has not been able to make his own fight. Now, the referee, Beresav, has the corner man. The fight stopped. It's over that quickly. The middleweight champion of the world is Marvin Hagler. That quickly, he fought his fight. When Minter tried to mix it up, he had no chance at all. Now bottles are being thrown into the ring, and beer cans, and the corner people are trying to protect Marvin Hagler.
Chaos ensued as Hagler and his team followed the British police to a room on the far side of the arena. Security remained with them in the room for 30 minutes before they felt it was safe for the new champion to come out. It didn't bother me all that much, Hagler said. I came to get the title, and I got it. Returning home, Hagler was greeted with a hero's welcome at Brockton City Hall, while the local high school band played the national anthem. Hagler gave a speech, telling fans that Rocky Marciano had put Brockton on the map, and that he was going to keep it there. They said it couldn't be done, Hagler said. They said I'd never get there. They said I couldn't do it with my trainers, that we were too small, that it would never work. All of the road work, all of the boxing, all of the tough times have all paid off. Hagler's dream of becoming a world champion had come true. Now it was time to become a legend. In January of 1981, Hagler defended his title in front of his hometown crowd at the Boston Garden, demolishing the 30-0 Fulgencio Obamejias in 8 one-sided rounds. 5 months later, Hagler faced Vito Antuofermo in a rematch. His camp hired former foe Benny Briscoe as a sparring partner to simulate Antuofermo's style of leading with his head. Hagler's sparring sessions with Briscoe became a self-fulfilling prophecy as his head collided with Antuofermo's in the first round.
And right away, a butt, and on the first occasion, a butt has opened the forehead right below the hairline of Vito Antuofermo.
And it was Antuofermo who instigated the butt himself.
45 seconds into the first round, it can have an effect. It is a nasty cut, a nasty cut.
The cut's right at the top of the forehead, nothing to do with his surgery, however.
There is a lot of blood right below the hairline of Vito Antuofermo.
The real question is whether the blood is getting into Antuofermo's eyes. The cut is not a dangerous cut. It's whether the blood blinds Antuofermo. And to this minute, you can't really say that it affected him.
Freddie Brown is saying, stop the fight, no fight. Freddie Brown is telling his man not to fight. Freddie Brown is saying, no fight.
Antifermo camp is trying to tell the official that Hagler butted him. They're going over to Walter Byers, who's the chairman of the Massachusetts Boxing Commission, to plead their case, and maybe to try to get some extra time for Hagler.
And blood again shows, this time under the eye, actually, of Vito Antifermo. Hagler goes after him, hits him with combinations. This has nothing to do with a butt in the first round. Another right hand scores against Antifermo, who now leans in on Marvin Hagler, the champion.
Vito is totally defenseless at this point, and he's got another cut right under the left eye.
And now the cut from the forehead, again showing blood about halfway through round 2. Sticking that right hand in the face of a bloodied Vito Antifermo, who comes back now with combinations to the head and body, but not very effectively. Once again, Antifermo with 2 right hands. And a left hand by Hagler as he has Antifermo against the ropes. Antifermo spins away. And we come to the end of round 2. To indicate that this is a bloody fight, but Larry Folks is wearing a bib.
A lobster bib.
Round 3 in the meantime. See what a job Freddie Brown has done. Good left hand that time by Hagler. Antifermo also has a cut underneath the left eye. May not be a pretty scene, but it is the job.
It seems that Hagler...
And there is a left hand that puts Antifermo down. A left hand to the forehead by Marvin Hagler put him right on his backside. Didn't seem to hurt him, seemed to stun him more than it did hurt him.
He didn't seem to know where he was for a moment.
That is only the 3rd time in the career of Vito Antifermo that he has been knocked down. Twice in his last fight. And again, blood showing from the scalp of Vito Antifermo. Showing more in this round, actually, than it did in the last round. Hagler just kind of measuring his man.
This fight is beginning to resemble a fight I saw many years ago, the second Sugar Ray Robinson-Basilio fight, in which Basilio's left eye looked like a gargoyle. It was closed early on.
Well, you saw that right hand by Marvin Hagler, and Antifermo now is cut under the right eye.
Antifermo is being beaten to the punch at all times. He just won't stay on the outside. He must get on the inside.
And the blood really showing actually from under the right eye of Antifermo, even more than the cut from the butt. And now Antifermo comes back a little bit. Antifermo fighting on guts, there's no question. And the most blood now, ironically, on Antifermo shows from the right side of his face, which was not the side of his face that was damaged early on.
Antifermo takes so many punches just to get 1 to 2 in.
Once
It
again,
looked like another headbutt. Oh, now Antifermo seemed to deliberately butt him.
and now Hagler gets the warning, and more blood shows from now the right brow of Vito Antifermo. It is not pretty. End of round 4. And again, Freddie Brown says the fight is over, and Davey Pearl says the fight should go on.
Freddie Brown, I heard him say disqualify him, meaning Hagler, disqualify Hagler.
They ought to leave it up to the fighter at this point.
And now you heard Davey Pearl said he quits. Marvin Hagler's hand is raised. Vito Antifermo does not like it. And it is a fight once again. There was controversy coming into the fight. There was controversy after the fight.
How did you see what happened in the first round?
Well, you see in the first round, Antifermo comes straight at me with his head. That was his own fault. He knows that he's vulnerable to cuts and everything like that. Seemed like he would have tried to keep away or whatever instead of ramming straight on with his head.
You're not suggesting that he did it deliberately. He was just leading with his head.
No, he was. And in our first fight, that's what he done here. But I'm glad that we had a great referee today that was very aware of everything. And he watched the butts, he watched the holdings and everything. So I felt very confident there. At least I had a good referee in there. and I really wasn't loosened up yet. I was just starting to put things together.
What did you think of all of the furor that was going on in his corner with Freddie Brown? Brown apparently wanted the fight stopped on a technicality, and meanwhile he was giving Antifermo a chance to heal.
Sure. Well, you know, I think that they did come in with some of that stuff on top of his head. I don't know what they were using, but it's kind of dangerous to another fighter because that stuff gets in my eyes, and which it did. I went back to my corner, and he wiped it out of my eyes. It's kind of bad. It blinds a fighter.
Once the fight continued, were you deliberately going for that cut? It did not appear to be in a dangerous
I wanted to knock
place.
him out. I was just putting my punches together, which you see me just starting, loosen up, putting my combinations together. I felt like I was a little tight in the beginning, but I knew that this guy wasn't the same fighter that I fought back there in '79, because he was much too easier, and he gave me, I moved, had a little bit more distance. Like I said, after that fight there with Antifermo the first time, I went back to school.
What did Antifermo say to you at the end?
First of all, I just want to say that Antifermo helped me buy my mother right there a house. And I want to say thank you, because it's her birthday, June 17th, and that house will be hers.
What did he say to you at the end?
Well, he wants another rematch or whatever like that. Hey, it's not fair way how things have to end that way, but hey, in this game, everything counts. So it wasn't fair the way they took it from me in the draw either.
Where do you go from here? Is Hamsho, it seems to be the only middleweight who has earned a clear shot at you.
If we can make big money the way that I want to make the money, $1 million or more, I know that gladly we'll take the fight.
Yeah. What about all the welterweights that seem like they can't wait to get a shot at you? Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Wilfredo Benitez.
That's good. If I was a weak champion, they would have been on top of me sooner. But I'm a strong champion. I just want to concentrate on this division, bring the respect back to the middleweight division. And if Sugar Ray Leonard or Tommy Hearns want to move up into my division, come on, fella, because I'm looking for a big payday.
Hagler's team now began discussing a 3-fight deal with Bob Arum, one of which would include a bout with Sugar Ray Leonard. In October of 1981, Hagler cut up the tough Mustafa Hamsho, stopping him in 11 one-sided rounds. In March of 1982, Hagler signed to face Mickey Goodwin of the Kronk Gym, who was replaced by stablemate Caveman Lee at the last minute. Pat Petronelli was suspicious of the substitution. "I think they were waiting to spring Lee on us all along," Petronelli said. But the Caveman lasted only 67 seconds. Meanwhile, the super fight with Sugar Ray Leonard appeared as if it were never going to happen. Leonard underwent eye surgery, so Hagler's team turned its attention to Thomas Hearns. The two were slated to meet in May of 1982, but Hearns injured his pinky finger and pulled out of the fight, rescheduling it for a month later. This go-around, Hagler pulled out of the negotiations when Hearns insisted on changing the venue from Windsor, Ontario to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. The sanctioning bodies then forced Hagler to give Fulgencio Obomejias a rematch. Hagler took out Obomejias quicker this time, ending things in the 5th. In February of 1983, Hagler faced what many believe to be his toughest challenge since he won the title, taking on England's Tony Sibson. Hagler was masterful, winning every round and stopping Sibson in the 6th. 3 months later, Hagler faced Wilfred Scipion in a fight that was postponed for 2 weeks when Hagler suffered a minor knee injury in training. There was speculation that Hagler had not taken the fight seriously enough and needed the extra time to get in shape. Meanwhile, the WBA and WBC refused to sanction the bout. The fight became the first championship bout to be sanctioned under the newly formed United States Boxing Association International, later to become the IBF. Hagler demolished Scipion in 4 rounds, warning the sanctioning bodies that they would look silly if they stripped him of the middleweight belts. In November of 1983, Hagler received his highest profile fight to date, as a rejuvenated Roberto Duran stepped up in weight class to challenge him. But Hagler felt that even when he defeated Duran, the critics would respond by saying he beat an old, washed-up fighter. Nonetheless, Hagler was set to receive his biggest payday to date, and wasn't fazed by Duran's reputation as a boxing folk hero. "He's the hands of stone?" Hagler asked. "Well, I'm the jackhammer. Do you know what a jackhammer does to stone?"
We're halfway through the opening round. A bit of a right hand by Duran on the chin of Hagler was a glancing blow. Hagler has never been down as an amateur or professional. The last time Duran was down was 9 years ago. He was down twice in his career as a pro, both left hooks by Esteban de Jesus, oddly in the first rounds of those bouts, with Duran coming back and winning.
This has been blocked by Hagler, but 1 or 2 have gotten in. That one was blocked.
The crowd erupts every time Duran throws something, and in the last few seconds he had a right hand block that he missed with a right, but yet there were cheers from the crowd. left to the stomach by Duran as Hagler missed and was out of position. So the legend still has the cute moves, knows when to take advantage.
And as we said at the top, if there's a way that Duran would win this fight, I think it would be that way. He just slipped a straight left by Hagler. It's his defensive skills that I think will make this fight for him.
Duran with a left to the head. Hagler with a right to the head of Duran. Duran with a short right hand in the face of Hagler. Another right hand by Duran to the head of Hagler. Hagler with a big left hand that rocked Duran. Duran with a right uppercut. And now Duran has gotten Hagler into a major exchange here in round 3. And this is where Roberto wants him at close range, especially on the ropes. You'll notice that Hagler just spun away from the ropes. He doesn't want to be there.
And now Duran coming forward. Apparently he feels after that exchange that he can fight inside with Hagler. And now Hagler's starting to throw some feints at Duran and trying to show him a little movement. And so far Duran, while Hagler hasn't landed much, Duran's going for all those feints.
Right hand by Duran. Hagler with a left to the body. That backed up Duran for an instant. A big swat of a left hand by Hagler, the kind of jab that decked Caveman Lee in the first round.
And indeed, now Hagler is starting to get his jab on track, and I guess that's the most important weapon for him in this fight. If he can land it, he'll be very effective.
We're halfway through the fourth. Duran with the right hand, and Hagler didn't even move. A right to the body by Duran, but he paid the price. Hagler countered with a left hook to the head.
Hagler starting to throw some combinations. That's been absent so far from both fighters in the first 3.5 rounds.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the rounds. No question, Hagler reverted back to the boxing style here in round 4 after getting into a couple of toe-to-toe exchanges with Duran in round 3.
And I think by and large he was more effective because of it.
In the workouts every day, Hagler fought several rounds right-handed to be sharp, to be able to show Duran that he can go both ways. And Hagler with a right hook from the lefty stance rattled Roberto Duran.
And he landed a good uppercut just before that. So he's starting to get the hand speed unlimited, and Hagler looks a little looser here in round 5. And after round 3, you'll note Goody Petronelli said you look tight out there.
That right hand by Duran was blocked by Hagler. We point that out because you should not be misled by the cheers of the crowd.
Good
Hagler with a right hand, Duran with a right hand. Hagler comes back with a straight left to the head. Duran with a whack of a right hand on the side of Hagler's head.
Duran is finding Hagler a relatively elusive target also, not like Davey Moore or Pepino Cuevas when he fashioned those 2 big comeback wins. Hagler a much better defensive fighter than those 2 men.
Right hand by Duran, and that was right on the chin of Hagler, but he's not hurt. And there's the bell marking the end of the 5th round. A left hand by Hagler. Duran shakes his head, no, I'm not hurt. A couple of jabs there by Hagler had put Duran off balance and wide open for the shot. Duran with a right hand after he was hit by a right by Hagler. So we're getting some toe-to-toe stuff here.
I think when Hagler switches to righty, he is much more effective against Duran, and there he does it now. He can land often in the righty stance. There's the good jab by Hagler. A good right by Hagler. This is the way he needs to be in this fight.
Hagler with a left hook to the head. Hagler switches to lefty, goes to righty, and they're in the center of the ring now. Duran not been able to make full connections as much as Hagler. Hagler here applying some pressure. He's gone into another gear.
And it's Hagler on the inside, not Duran, who's dominating the action as many people thought.
Hagler now digging in now, throwing shots, and he is catching Duran. Duran still coming forward. Big right hand by Hagler from the righty stance. That was his best punch. Less than a minute to go now, and Duran is starting to feel some of that power from Hagler.
Duran himself has avoided being hit really flush by Hagler. Now Hagler turns to righty, and watch how effective he is when he turns to this stance.
He made a pivot move and brought that left hook to the head. He just did it twice. Hagler's corner knows that Marvin is especially effective in the orthodox stance. And they welcome him switching to the righty style. Because of Hagler's ability to punch in bunches. Hard jab there by Hagler. Yet another one. A countering right hand by Duran, and a little extracurricular activity that Hagler did not like. Another right hand blocked by Hagler. Hagler with a three-punch combination on the head of Duran.
Hagler slipping the jabs and pounding the body of Roberto Duran.
Then he came upstairs with some uppercuts. And that brought an ooh and an ah from the crowd. Right hook by Hagler.
I think Duran is slowing down discernibly here in round 10.
And a right hand by Duran. Just when he was backing up, Hagler walked right into it. Less than 30 seconds to go in the 10th. Right hand high in the head of Hagler. A hard left hand by Hagler. Duran came back with his own right. And it appears right now that Duran cannot hurt Hagler. Hagler with a big left hand at the bell, and Duran gives him a mean look.
Duran is punching more on the inside, working the body a little bit. It may be too late, but he has certainly picked up the pace on the inside, what we expected early from him.
Duran with a right uppercut. There's swelling underneath the eye, the left eye of Hagler. They go toe-to-toe here in the 12th. Duran mocking Hagler. Dropped his hands to his side. Hagler's protecting his left eye.
They have some of the earmarks of the first Anna Fermo fight. Marvin tiring a little bit and perhaps letting Duran back in this fight. And of course that swelling under the left eye a factor now.
Duran with the lead right, and he followed up with another right hand. And Hagler's got a problem with swelling underneath his left eye. This is reminiscent at this point of the Davey Moore fight, when Moore went inside and Duran connected with right hands. This is Duran's best round. Hagler with the left hand, an uppercut, points to his chin, as if to say, come on, hit me. Hagler with the left hand, Roberto with the right. And this is what it's all about. Two champions going toe-to-toe. Sharpshooting for that left eye of Marvin Hagler as swelling underneath on the cheekbone. We're into the 14th. Hagler comes out winging.
And he came out right-handed and was effective. Again, I'm puzzled by the fact that he won't fight right-handed more often. Look at him go to the body of Duran. Good uppercuts by Hagler.
In the first 20 seconds of this round, Hagler has been a tremendous force here. Duran backing up, looking to get some punching room. Hagler's done a lot of punching. He's come back strongly. I see blood. I think that the Hagler's got a cut. Yes, it's around his left eye. Hagler is cut.
But here in round 14, despite the sneering, it's been Hagler on the inside dominating the action, as you see him doing right there.
Hagler with a strong right hook to the head. Hagler knows he's cut. He's had an exceptional round, but they're going to have to work on that eye during the 1-minute break before the final round.
And I think that's the best place for him to be. Take away the power of Duran and work him on the inside.
Big left hand by Hagler on the chin of Duran, but Duran is okay, so okay, he sneered again at Hagler. Get close enough, trying to get some punching room, but it's all Hagler down the stretch. Hagler with a big right hook and a left cross. Hagler takes a right hand from Duran. Hagler not taking any chances here, and he wallops Duran with the left hand. Duran with his back to the rope takes a right hook.
To the head of Roberto Duran.
20-odd seconds to go in the fight. Left hand by Hagler, and Roberto Duran drilled Hagler with his own right. 15 seconds to go. Two warriors, two champions, going the full 15 rounds. Hands of Stone turned out to be a formidable opponent, and he rocks Hagler with the right hand, Hagler with the left, as we head for the belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges. Judge Guy Jutra's scores 144-142. Judge Yasaka Yoshida scores 146, 145. Judge Odie Oberson scores 144, 143 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Congratulations to Marvin Hagler, who wins by unanimous decision, but it was close by point margins of 2, 1, and 1. You have a problem with your left eye. Tell me how that developed.
Well, that's probably from my old stitch. I slipped and fell in the bathroom at my home.
When was this?
That was before, about two fights before. That's just an old cut there. I felt very good. I just couldn't get off with the speed the way I wanted. I would have knocked this guy out, but I needed to work. I was in good shape, so I figured as long as I keep the jab, I couldn't get it going the way I really wanted to, because he's a little quicker, but next time I fight Duran, I'll knock him out. He's made for me, you know, but then afterwards, you don't have to knock him out. My trainer said, just beat him. You beating him? Just beat him. The last 2 rounds, I came back decisively.
The question does linger, though. Why didn't you knock him out?
Well, you know, like I said, even though the man is 3-time world champion, you got to give me a little credit there, too. Nobody's ever knocked Duran out, so you really don't go for it. But next time, I had him going there, I think, in the last round. But a little bit more. I know what I have to do next time.
In terms of strength, how did you feel against him?
Oh, I felt very strong. Real loose. He wasn't getting. He just beat me to the punch a couple of times, but he wouldn't come at me the way how we planned. So I had to change up. That's what a mark of a good fighter, that you can still change up in the inside. A lot of fighters can't, and they're thrown off stride.
You were very effective as a righty against him.
Yeah, I was very effective, so that's why I went that way. He kept ducking under the right jab, so he ducked into my left hook, my right hand, and left uppercut half hook. So that's what was effective for him, so I kept using it.
He caught you a lot with right hands. Did he ever rock you?
No, it never was hurting the fight. The last round, I think the puff in the eye just started to, puff up. I wanted to get to him before it closed or anything, but he couldn't knock me out or anything. I told him he gonna hit me with that ring pole. Really, I just want to thank everybody who has helped me to make it all the way to this day. The Peter Fullops, the Rip Valentes, even the Spectrum guys, Russell Peltz, and I'd like to thank my mother and my kids and my wife for all the support, and these 2 guys, a happy birthday present for Goody and Pat Petronelli.
I know there was concern in your corner about that nick on your left eye, about the swelling. You came out on the 15, and you were awesome, as if to say, I'm not going to take any chances. You must have outpunched him 4 to 5 to 1.
I had to come out like that to make it decisive. I don't like being here, I don't want to leave it into the judges' hands, and so even though I had to put everything together, I just had to keep them tied and keep pumping them.
Okay, Marvin, there's lots of fans out there look at these point totals and they see that you won by 2 points, by 1 point, and by 1 point. Yeah, Will you give Duran another shot?
Sure. Well, if the money's right and everything, sure. He draw the big attraction. Next time I put him out, though, he won't go 15.
Congratulations on your 8th defense. You are a standard of excellence at 160 pounds.
Don't nobody say I can't go 15 anymore, all right?
All right.
Great shakes. Oh, yeah.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Congratulations to the Petronellis as well.
After the close call with Duran, hype began for a super fight with Thomas Hearns. Hagler stopped the hard-hitting Juan Rodin in March of 1984. He suffered his first official knockdown in the bout, but most viewers wrote it off as a slip. Meanwhile, Hearns shocked the boxing world by knocking out Roberto Duran in 2 rounds. Sugar Ray Leonard also teased a return. I've been hearing that for 3 years, Hagler said. Leonard made good on his comeback, coming to Hagler's gym to train for his return fight against Kevin Howard. Leonard's plan was to sell 2 fights at once, the bout with Howard, which would be followed by a super fight with Hagler. But Leonard looked shaky against Howard, getting floored and later reneging on his plans to step in the ring with Hagler. Frustrated, Hagler took out his anger on Mustafa Hamsho, stopping the normally durable challenger in 3 rounds. With Leonard now out of the running, the stage was set for a super fight against Thomas Hearns.
Hearns' best defense is his offense, because that's the only way that he knows how to fight. In my way, I have to make my defense my best offense. So, and though that I have both ways, because once I get him in trouble, I can change it around. Thomas don't have that ability.
I'm here to show the world that I have the ability to punch and power, to get in there and knock out middleweights, light heavyweights, whatever, welterweights, all the way up to the light heavyweight division. I have that power.
I have my mind focused on one thing, and that's to destroy him. That is to knock him out. If I have the opportunity, if it's there, I'm going to take it.
I think that this fight here will put me in the position to make greatness and put me one step closer to greatness, and which is to win the 4 titles.
That's what I feel. War. That's what's on my mind.
I don't see the fight going 12 rounds.
I've been feeding the faith, and I've been starving the doubt. So there's no doubt in my mind that I can't win this fight, or that I won't knock Thomas Hearns out.
All right, Pat. Good 8. Let's go.
So the two come to mid-ring with Richard Steele.
Instructions in the dressing room. I'm just cautioning you now. Obey my command at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you. Let's go.
Very simple instructions. And finally, it's Hagler against Hearns.
The camera's going to have to go.
Eloquent simplicity by Richard Steele. Let's go.
He knows, they know. Staring at each other through the national anthem. A stare down, of course, so customary before these fights. And here we go. Round 1. Hagler, right off the bat, attempting to get inside. He'd love to be able to pin Hearns on the ropes if he can.
A more aggressive start by Hagler. Look at him, right for the body. Marvin Hagler only wants the body, and he bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with a right hand.
Hearns with another right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler is hurt. Hagler is stunned. Hearns got inside. Hit him with a right uppercut. Marvin ties him up.
Marvin Hagler is still hurt.
So it was Hagler coming out like a bullet. A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body. Wild first round.
Wow, what a shock. And it was Hagler who initiated it, not Thomas Hearns.
And a left by Hagler. Hearns comes back. Another right. That one stunned Hearns. Hagler's left eye again. Tommy trying to come inside the hands of Hagler.
Low blow by Hearns. Hagler still looking for the body.
A right by Hagler. Good right got in. He has Hearns where he'd love to keep him on the ropes, but Tommy comes off easily. Another good right by Hearns.
Hagler is now shaking those right hands off, though, Al. He was stunned a little early, and he's normally a slow starter.
He's also bleeding. Hagler is cut. Hagler is cut. Bridge of the nose.
Hagler hitting him low. He is banging the body well. He is taking shots to the head.
He blocks that right. Hearns tries to come in with the uppercut, and Hagler ties him up with a minute to go in a wild first round. Marvin with a good left hand.
There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face. Can't tell where it's coming from.
I thought it started from the bridge of the nose originally, but blood all over the face of Hagler here in round 1. But Hagler has him on the rope. Hagler working on him. Hagler relentless, but Hearns trying to box his way out. Half a minute to go in round 1. How far can this one go? Not very far at this pace.
This is where Hagler wants him, but Hearns counterpunching off those ropes fairly effectively.
Tremendous first round. Hagler pinning him to the ropes, working on him, but Hearns uppercutting again. Hagler bloody. A tremendous, sensational first round as Hearns gets hurt. Hearns got stunned. Hagler was stunned early in the round. Great first round.
Wow.
Incredible.
Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
Well, the first round lived up to all the hype, and then some. Round 2 now.
Oh.
The club, left hand by Hagler.
They said this fight would be determined on heart and the good chin. Right now, that's exactly what it's being determined on. Both men have been hurt. You can throw the strategy out the window right now. They are yelling, "Keep boxing, Tommy," from his corner, and that looks like what he's going to try and do in this fight.
Hearns off balance. His foot was stepped on, not close to a knockdown.
Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching, gets in with a left hand. This round sort of the way people anticipated the first round might go. Another right hand stuns Hearns. The crowd, of course, emphatic over every punch that's thrown. Hagler, despite that recent disadvantages, has been able to get into Hearns more so than I think most people expected.
For one simple reason. Good left hook by Hagler. He took the best Hearns could offer, and he did come in. He's getting through that right hand, even though he's getting hit with it.
halfway through round 2.
Hagler has fought most of this round as a righty. Now he switches southpaw and lands. Not as effective as a righty as I thought, but now as a southpaw, the jab lands well.
That right jab.
Punching it out.
Tommy, though, fluid and moving. Trying to get inside. Again, the cut opens up over Hagler's forehead. And the blood begins to trickle down. Hagler working inside, now up top. Half a minute to go in round 2.
One left.
Hearns trading with him. Hagler comes back to the right or left, and another right. He has Hearns in trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there. Goes to the body.
Hagler throws low blows. Marvin Hagler wants to turn this into an alley war, and he's done it. Another low blow. Richard Steele may take points away soon, but will it matter?
Second round coming to an end. Hagler bloody, but very much unbowed. End of round 2. Again, Stewart telling Hearns to box. As you say, though, Hagler turning it into a street fight.
Well, he turns righty. He wants it to be a street fight. Listen, Marvin Hagler has been rough inside. He's thrown some low blows. He has thrown some elbows.
Don't push.
But you know what? Now the right is getting there, but it's not hurting Hagler. We've got our answer, I think, to some extent. Tommy has been hard-pressed to hurt him with that right. Stunned him early, but not in the last round or 2.
Very early. Had him stunned, has him cut. But it was Hagler doing the damage in round 2.
And now, just as we thought might happen, Tommy Hearns was hurt early, so he is boxing. Now, he has good boxing skills. He did this against Sugar Ray. Can Hagler get to him in this posture?
Some people thought, as he again becomes off balance, some thought that if Hearns stayed outside and stayed on his bicycle, it would become a dull fight with Marvin chasing him.
But Marvin has been able to corner him, and when Marvin gets him in the corner, he is roughhousing him well.
Again, Hagler is all bloodied. Time is called by Richard Steele to send Hagler over to the ring doctor. He's calling the ring doctor in. Of course, the last thing in the world Hagler wants is the fight to be stopped. The doctor looks at it. Back comes Hagler with a wild left hand. It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Tremendous right. Hearns appears rubbery. He appeared that way in the second round.
You know, Richard Steele is breaking these fighters very quickly. That's uncharacteristic of him. It's hurting Hagler because he wants to work inside. Hearns is smiling, but he's taking shots.
Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back. And he's not going to beat the count. I don't believe. Tommy Hearns tries to get up and
They've got to stop this fight.
Does he get up? He just doesn't know. He can't continue. It's Hagler full of blood. Blood, no doubt, impeding his vision, stopping him in the third round after Hearns almost ended it on a first-round knockout. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
And Tommy Hearns predicted a knockout in the third. Instead, it is Marvin Hagler, and we certainly hope Tommy Hearns will be all right. He is still wobbly. What a shock. Instead of Hearns initiating wild early action, it is this man who, believe me, has gained any redemption he needed from the loss to Roberto Duran.
We gave him a hell of a show. They got their money worth.
All right. We're happy to see that Tommy's all right. And a lot of congratulations all around and a lot of water as well. Marvin, you took the action to Tommy right away. You went right for his body. He looked like he stunned you momentarily with a right in the first. Did that right hurt you?
It didn't bother me, just made me madder.
Okay.
I told you I was going to eat him up like Pac-Man. I figured once I get through the right hand, then it was all mine, you know, because I think the first big one, which he tried to put me away out there, and I think that's when I got the cut there, but I wanted to show the world I am the greatest now.
Well, you are the greatest middleweight. There's no doubt about that.
Did I say 3?
You went right for the body. Was that your plan immediately?
That was the way we planned. I want to thank all my sparring partners. Especially I want to thank God for giving me the strength and the courage and the confidence to go in here and to know that I was the one. I was the champion, but I had to fight like a challenger.
That fight, I think, took tremendous courage on your part for this reason. You walked right in against the cannon. You were willing to take the right hand to knock him out.
You got it. I figured I had to take punches or to give some, but I told you he was going to get some too.
this was in some ways not like the Marvin Hagler we've often seen. Not the ring technician. You bombed.
That's it. That's what I felt. I felt as though in every one of my fights I've been fighting, I improved and I put it all together in this fight.
The Petronelli's here. I guess you've got to be just thrilled with this. Probably your biggest moment.
The greatest. There's this guy. Does he? Now that we take care of the wise guys, the hurt man, the hit man. We love him.
I want to say to all the people out there who spent their money, I hope that you got your money's worth, because Tommy's a hell of a fighter, and I think I put all my all out here. But the better man won tonight.
You have talked about going after Monzone's record. Is it still on your mind? And I guess this just fuels you. Getting that record might put you in that class of the greatest middleweight.
Definitely. I'm still after Monzone's record, but I don't think that I'll have a big media hype as I did with this one, so I'm going to continue. Okay. This is one of my toughest fights.
Marvin, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hagler had his sights on breaking Carlos Monzone's record of 14 middleweight title defenses. He was scheduled to make his 12th defense against John the Beast Mugabe, a feared knockout artist. But the fight was postponed after Hagler's sparring partner Zach Hewitt headbutted him, breaking his nose. The fight was rescheduled, but another sparring partner, Bobby Patterson, knocked Hagler down in sparring, a combination of a left hook high on the head and Hagler's poor balance. "Good work," Hagler said from the canvas as he got up, and knocked Patterson's headgear off later in the round. But reporters saw the knockdown as signs of Hagler slipping.
Round one. Anytime there's two punches, then there's immediate excitement. And Hagler is not fighting southpaw. He's fighting orthodox style. There's a surprise right off the bat.
You can feel the tension in the crowd. High anticipation to watch marvelous Marvin Hagler and the dangerous puncher John Mugabe. Round is yet.
That takes discipline, Tim, because I know he's more comfortable with the southpaw.
Under a minute to go. What you're thinking about that? The fact that we mentioned earlier that he has been very effective fighting orthodox in recent fights? Or does it have to do with this particular matchup against Mugabe?
Well, I think that they really thought they could foul Mugabe up because he's been working against southpaws all along, and all of a sudden he comes out, and Hagler's not a southpaw.
Mugabe so far has shown good discipline and poise.
Yes, he has.
A wild swinging right by Hagler missed, and he paid for it with punches back to the body. An overhand right landed on the dome of Hagler.
Tim, Hagler is feeling those punches, believe me.
Final seconds of round one. Solid left by Mugabe. Hagler coming in. The slugfest is on.
Mugabe is not getting the worst of it at the moment.
He is not. He has not backed up a step, and he looks very relaxed.
Then this is a war. Hagler knows he's in a fight.
Solid jabs by Hagler.
In the gym, Mugabe looked awkward. He looked off balance. I haven't seen it in the fighters yet, Tim. Looks like a fighter.
Under a minute to go, round two, scheduled for 12. A left lands from Mugabe, and a right.
Every punch is a bomb.
The right, that time, picked off by Hagler, but he had his own glove knocked into his face. Hagler missed it.
Mugabe's unorthodox style. He feinted a right hand, full left hook before, Tim. I don't think Marvin has seen anything like this.
Good combination that time of the champion.
Look at the steam coming off Marvin Hagler's head.
Under the 30-second mark we go. It is still cool here in Las Vegas. A rainy, cool day.
To the body, and a good right hand by Mugabe.
A left to the ear of the champion from Mugabe.
And a good right hand to the body. He's allowing Mugabe to get set, Tim, which is not a good idea. Now he moves.
Mugabe tried to surprise him with that left hook.
Right hand by Mugabe.
Tim, it didn't land. It was blocked, but it still knocked Marvin back about 5 feet.
Yes, it did. He threw his hands up, and that power just moved him back.
And Marvin landed a good right hook.
Hagler working the body with 2 shots.
He has Hagler backing up, Tim.
Under a minute to go in round number 3. The 31-year-old champion. Some people wondering about his age, but he always trained so superbly, never out of shape, never been a factor for him.
Again, that left hand of Hagler's is a little wide. Not throwing that straight dart down the middle. But again, when he can slide to his right, Tim, that's when he's effective. Use that right jab and stay away from those counters. They should tell Mugabe in this corner to move to his left. He's making Mugabe reach now.
2 solid right jabs by Hagler.
Sliding to the right and jabbing. Now it's up to Mugabe to move the other way.
Coming to the end of round number 3. Good combination by Hagler. Piston-like jab. Missed with a big left hook.
Then that could have ended it.
Yes, it could have. Solid jab. Mugabe not leading here as Hagler just keeps the pace on. Under a minute to go, round 4.
That was Mugabe's feet got tangled. Then he was able to get hit with a couple of counter punches.
Hagler blocking effectively. Mugabe has shown he can take a punch. How many is the question?
He throws punches from unorthodox angles. He's always dangerous.
Under the 30-second mark we go. Round number 4, scheduled for 12.
There's that uppercut. That's that punch I thought he was setting Hagler up for.
He landed it. He landed it. But Hagler keeps coming forward. Humping that jab. There's a right counter back from Mugabe. Right hand to the ear at the bell for Mugabe. Round number 5. Mugabe comes up quickly this round, and that gets Marvin's attention.
I think it was the Blue Trunks that came out quickly, Tim. Landed 5 or 6 good solid punches.
Round 5 scheduled for 12.
There's that quick left hook of Mugabe's. But again, Hagler's moving to his right, taking a lot of that power away. Tommy, you mentioned that Marvin's going to get that left hand through there, but so far since the fight started, I've noticed that he's been throwing his left hand very wide. That's about the straightest one he threw.
Well, what Hagler is doing is looping. He's looping his left hand. He's not shooting a straight left hand. The first left hand I seen tonight was his left hand just a minute ago.
A test of physical strength now, and Hagler's landed a good combination. But he can't move Mugabe back.
My God, Tim, what punishment this Mugabe's taking, and he's still there.
Hagler with target practice now, but he just cannot move Mugabe back. A warning from Lane for a low blow again. A right hand lead by Hagler. Keeping the pressure on it. He caught a left counter. Another left counter from Mugabe, and Hagler won't move back. A test of wills, finally. Mugabe driven back to the ropes. 2 consecutive right hands. Finally, the legs of Mugabe starting to show a little wear. Hagler keeps the pressure on. The months of preparation, the conditioning, Hagler showing here as he fires one punch after another. But Mugabe still on his feet.
Tim, we talk about a guy with an iron chin. Mugabe has it.
There's an uppercut from Hagler.
Hagler better not punch himself out, Tim.
Now Mugabe firing back.
Better not punch himself out.
John Mugabe is some tough customer. Takes another shot.
He's hit Hagler with some good shots too, Tim.
Finally, they clinch along the ropes. First time Mugabe attempted to grab Hagler. And Mugabe fires back. He lands a left hook.
Mugabe is tie-in now.
What a round!
Orthodox style.
Well,
now
Marvin, what he's doing, he keeps switching up, and he's trying to confuse Mugabe. Mugabe, he's fighting 1 minute as left hand, then he switch up and go to right hand, and I think that's kind of throwing him off. That's why Mugabe is standing back in that crotch in that stand.
Hagler seems to be much better off in this fight. Oh, a good straight left by Hagler. And a right hook.
Here they go again, toe-to-toe, round 7. Solid left from Hagler. Combination from the champion. Hagler having his way with the right jab. Mugabe's hands a little lower as time wears on. Uganda unbeaten in 26 fights.
Hagler is very confident now, Tim. He's smiling at Mugabe.
And a minute to go, round 8.
Well, Mickey Dubb said win or lose. He said Mugabe would come out a much more popular fighter.
No doubt about that. This young man can fight. He is an attraction. He is strong. And there's a solid right hand from Mugabe, and Hagler didn't blink.
Well, Hagler again had switched to the orthodox style. I think he had better stay southpaw, Tim. He's doing a good job with that right jab. Why should he switch off?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Hagler, his best work is on with the southpaw position. He's given Mugabe all the work that he possibly can stand in the left-hand position.
Tommy, you landed some real good shots in your fight against Marvin Hagler. It must be a little frustrating to not see him respond, react. That's what's happening to Mugabe.
Well, again, he's setting Mugabe up with that right jab, Tim. And that's the way he should stay. Just keep working behind that jab.
The fight is not over. John Mugabe is still putting up a good fight. He's still trying. He hasn't quit yet.
Round 9 scheduled for 12, and there's a right hand from the challenger, Mugabe. That's scored. Combination from Mugabe.
Some solid punches by Mugabe, Tim. Right hands right down the pipe. There it is again.
You got to bring something behind that left, that right hand. You just can't shoot that right hand and expect the right hand to do damage. Each time you shoot that right hand, Marvin Hagler is countered by over the shot.
Tommy, he doesn't have the balance. He can't come back with the left hook.
Well, that's something you got to learn in training. You got to work. At times, Hagler falls apart. He forgets what he's doing, it seems like.
Big left hook by Hagler.
Right, wide shots.
Chopping uppercut from Hagler.
Now, Hagler doesn't get the credit for being as good an inside fighter as he is, and he's showing us why right now.
Hagler pressuring Mugabe.
Mugabe landed some terrific shots, Tim. He has to be discouraged because Marvin did not take a backward step.
He's backing up Mugabe finally.
Well, Hagler is concentrating on backing Mugabe up, putting the pressure on. And it seems like Mugabe is falling apart. He don't like it downstairs. He's trying to keep his hands down low to try to block those body punches. But all he's doing is setting himself up for some good shots to the head.
Short chopping punches by Hagler, who just pulls his way forward and keeps firing.
Well, that seems to be the ticket inside for Hagler. And Mugabe's punches seem to be lacking a lot of snap now, Tim.
Finally in the 10th round, the pace of the assault from the champion starting to show on Mugabe.
Oh, Marvin didn't like that body shot. That was a good left hook to the body.
Under the 30-second mark in round 10. The leg starting to show a little sagging under Mugabe.
He's tired now, Tim, but he still throws bombs.
The end of round 10. Certainly got lots of encouragement from Mickey Duff, George Francis, and even Father Tony.
No, Tim, they made Father Tony the lead. They said, if you won't listen to me, listen to the father.
I think it's just a matter of Mugabe being tired. He's never been to the 11th round ever in his life. He's never taken this kind of punishment at all.
Well, he's really tired now.
Well, that's the key. The key is the punishment. That's why he's tired. And Hagler keeps the heat on. Uppercut inside by the challenger.
Tim, as I said earlier, he'll be dangerous while he's falling down. And Marvin is doing a job on him now, Tim. Just taking him apart with short little punches.
Wings two over the top just for good measure, and he's got him hurt. He's got him hurt. Mugabe finally goes down in the 11th round. He's more dead tired than anything else, and it's all over. He's just exhausted from the continual assault. Marvelous Marvin Hagler retains his undisputed middleweight championship of the world with an 11th round knockout over a game and exciting challenge from John Mugabe. Thanks to Tommy Hearns for joining us at ringside. 129 of the 11th round. Marvelous Marvin Hagler racks up his 12th consecutive title defense, pushes his record up to 62 victories against just 2 losses and 2 draws. 52 knockouts.
The Mugabe fight was described as a showreel of suffering, pain, and endurance. Hagler struggled with thoughts of retirement as his wife was unhappy with their long separations. Talks of a rematch with Hearns went nowhere. The sanctioning bodies resumed their shenanigans as the WBA stripped Hagler of his title for failing to face their #1 contender Harold Graham. But over a year after his bout against Mugabe, Hagler was enticed back into the ring by a comebacking Sugar Ray Leonard and $12 million.
I've been waiting, I tell you, for a long time. And like I said, I think that this is my time, this is my era, this is my day for me to shine.
I'm doing something I always felt I could do. It's no surprise to me. Sounds a little cocky, doesn't it? But that's me. I mean, I feel that good. I feel that confident about my progress and about my conditioning.
I'm going to stop him. I don't know which round he's going to be in. I'm going to stop him.
He won't outstrength me. I mean, again, people say, well, Ray, you know, you're a little guy. I'm 30 years old. I'm not old, but I'm a much older guy. So I carry my weight fine.
You better sit there and get your popcorn early. I told you, your beers and whatever, and sit tight, because this fight don't necessarily have to go 12 rounds.
Ray Leonard said that the first round is going to be the most important round of the fight. He says he has to win the first round and gain Marvelous Marvin's respect. Let's see if he can do it. And here we go.
Need I say, Leonard in white and Hagler in blue.
And Hagler is not boxing as a southpaw. I just don't like that at all. Why he does that, I'll never know.
Well, part of the closed-door strategy this week on the part of Hagler may well have been to work on this. Coming out at the beginning of the fight, opposite his normal weigh-in, Sugar Ray Leonard throws the first punch of the fight. speaking of the gloves, they are the tabbed variety with the thumbs attached to the body of the glove.
First punch by Hagler. Clean miss. Nice combination by Leonard. And Hagler's talking to him and smiling at him.
Hagler said he expected to get hit. He just wasn't too concerned about it. I'll take anything he can throw. Hagler content to cut off the ring, and Leonard with a right hand.
Good right, solid right hand by Leonard. Now Hagler's mad. Now Leonard's boxing southpaw. Trying to do a psych job on Marvelous Marvin, and now Hagler's boxing southpaw.
Into the 30-second mark in round 2. Good counter punch by Leonard as a lunging miss by Hagler. Hagler now bulls him for the first time in the fight. And Leonard punched his way out of that clinch.
Another combination by Leonard.
Final seconds of round 2. Another miss by Hagler, and Leonard made him pay again. That's the end of round 2.
Take southpaw that one. You're right-handed that round. Take southpaw this next round, okay? Yeah, get the water. Don't get it tight. I'll try and get a little looser. Just let him go. Throw those 1-2s Leonard. Keep pressing like you're pressing.
And rough his body and stuff.
Tear him up inside.
Hagler outpunched him in that exchange.
Scoring to the body.
Leonard's mouth is wide open, Tim. Starting to breathe heavy.
Leonard continues to put a lot of miles on those new sneakers.
Good combination by Leonard, Tim. Right hand, left hook.
Pressure on him, bang. Rough him in tight. We tried to tie up, rough him up like you have to do. Understand? Right? The short loop. He's a goddamn sissy out there. Yeah, I know. Trying to play engage with you.
Yeah. That's right. He's trying to get fancy. That's right.
Now go after him. No, wait. Don't even think about him now. He's tiring a little bit too now. Understand? Trying to stay on him. Rough him up.
That's right.
Rip him inside. Just like going through the motions, Marvin, right? Okay. Ain't no different. Show me your boss out there. You are the boss. Okay.
Confidence seeming to build as each second of the fight ticks away.
Good body shots by Hagler, Tim. They're hard punches.
Hagler's body punches. He's got to land them. And a little showboat punch from Leonard. That brought the crowd alive, many of them to their feet.
It's a great performance by Sugar Ray Leonard so far, Tim. Great performance.
Under 30 seconds in round 4. Well, good combination again. Leonard timing things perfectly.
I don't know why Hagler's laughing, Tim. The rounds are going in the bank.
Landed a left there. Leonard walking away contemptuously.
Shook his head and it didn't hurt.
Punch it down. Punch it down. At the end of round number 4, and some words from Hagler, he's not happy at all with the showboating of Leonard, but he's going to have to find a way to do something about it.
You're going to get hot, but you're going to get caught too, all right?
Yeah.
Snap, speed, rap. All right?
Okay.
Okay, you will. Okay, man. Okay, tell me. Let's get a little water.
Round number 5.
Did Leonard push him away?
I would say that this is almost a critical round for Hagler. He's got to make something happen. Good right hand by Leonard. Hagler trying to pull him into the corner, but Leonard will not go. Right hand uppercut lead, and it landed by Leonard.
He has Leonard on the ropes. Can't hit him when he's on the ropes or in the corners. He's going to nail Hagler Hagler again. I can see the punches coming.
He just missed that combination, however.
Didn't miss that one.
Royal miss by Hagler. Leonard tried to make him pay, but Hagler got himself in a defensive position.
Ray told me that in the Mugabe fight, Hagler turned completely around when he missed, but Mugabe didn't make him pay. He said, I'm going to make him pay. And you see how he jumped on him then? Now Hagler's back to orthodox. He just doesn't know what to do. Hagler's starting to get the range a little bit now, though, Tim.
Finally got him in the corner, landed a left.
Seemed like it's just was starting to get the range.
The conditioning of these two athletes is extraordinary.
Hagler's
solid right by Hagler.
He's starting to get the range, Tim. You can just see it.
That one forced Leonard to grab him. No question, Gil. Leonard stopped on the ropes for the first time in the fight.
And hit a couple of good body punches. Now he's punching back with Hagler. Tim, he doesn't belong in there.
Into the round.
Tim, I think this is a key round. Has to be a key round. If Hagler can win this round, he's right back in the fight. But if Ray wins it, it's going to be a long way uphill for Marvin.
Well, I felt that Hagler had to make something happen in the 5th round, having given the first 4 to Leonard, and he did. We scored the last one for Hagler.
And so did Angelo Dundee.
You can hear that in the corner. Good combinations there by Hagler, counterpunching well. Better timing. First 3 rounds, he used up a lot of energy trying to cut off the ring.
Is he missing? Whoa! And Ray is doing nothing to make him miss. He's just missing.
Short punches inside by Ray. Hagler looking a little arm weary as Ray is right there to be hit. Leonard punches back.
Hagler does not look sharp at all, Tim.
Leonard missed with an overhand right. 30 seconds to go. Round number 6.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler looks very, very slow.
Short chopping right hand by Hagler. Leonard was counting on the slowness of Hagler. He said he's lost a lot of speed. Final seconds of the 6th round.
Even when Leonard misses, Hagler's having trouble countering. But he landed a couple of good solid punches in that exchange.
With his gloves. As he did there. And he smiles and laughs at Leonard, who gives him a grin back.
Oh, there we go to Muhammad Ali. And a nice combination.
Working on the mind of Hagler. And Hagler just keeps plodding ahead in his workmanlike style.
Those are the solid punches.
Yep.
Those are the solid punches. He has Ray in a little trouble now.
Bang into the body. Uppercut scored at the bell. They don't hear the bell. Steps in between them.
And you roughen him up good stuff. You have to do that. Get him against the ropes like you did there. That overhand fine. And bring the uppercuts out. Pat was right. Drive him up. Get a little rough in there. Okay? It's all yours.
Eddie Petronelli asking for more aggression. Get a little rough in there. Round 8, a 12-round middleweight championship bout that has more than lived up to its billing, no matter what the outcome now.
Good solid right jab by Hagler, Tim. That's almost like a straight right hand when he hits you with it.
And as you pointed out in the first couple of rounds, the timeout here for some tape loose on the right glove of Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'd really try to load up and nail Hagler now. The guy's getting overconfident. They tried it.
And he took a left and pushed him back.
There's those body shots again. Look how much Marvelous Marvin misses like. But he doesn't get discouraged. He misses, he punches again.
Leonard standing there willing to trade.
Now that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
Short chopping punches inside scored by Hagler.
Hagler is breathing very deep now too, Tim. He's gasping for breath. It's not a one-sided thing here. Another punch after the bell by Leonard.
All right, go ahead. Okay, that's the way you got. That's the way you got to fight this guy. Exactly what you're doing. You got to rough him up. He may take a few shots, man.
He took a point away.
All right. He took a point away after the bell. That's all right. How do you feel, man?
Good. That's what
You're gonna brawl this guy, keep the pressure on him, taking his legs away from right now. And if you get him against throw, the overcut, uppercuts are very good.
Vicious body punch by Hagler, though, Tim. Flashy combinations, but only one of the punches landed.
Was able to escape, however. His footwork continues to be
Hagler
impressive.
was just so slow getting off when he has Leonard on the ropes. He should let that left hand to the body go right away. That was the best punch of the fight.
Hagler straight
best
down
punch
the
of
middle.
the fight for Hagler.
Hagler backing up Leonard into the Leonard corner. Short right uppercut.
He's nailing him now, Tim.
Right to the chin.
That's where he has to put that left hand.
Leonard in some difficulty. Hasn't thrown a punch out of this corner. Now he does. Trying to bang his way out.
Look at that determination of Ray Leonard. You talk about a champion.
What a display.
Absolutely gritted his teeth. Look at him go.
Again, in the middle of the ring. And Hagler stays there and punches back. A right by Leonard.
What a display, Tim. You talk about a champion, but he's got that solid rock to move, and Hagler just keeps methodically moving forward.
Under a minute to go, round 9. Most of the crowd here on its feet. Trading over there on the far side. Again, Hagler gets the best of it, but Leonard just keeps firing.
Leonard is punching in desperation now, though, Tim. Really trying. What a display.
Leonard holding on, and Hagler just slapping in
He's
his body.
tired, Tim. Look at those arms. Yeah, but he tries to be tricky. Nothing's going to help him, though, Tim. Not when he's tired the way he's tired now.
Hagler trying to find openings. Maybe a little arm weary, Gil. He's not throwing enough punches.
Well, we said they were going to have to fight, and they're fighting.
They're both exhausted from this round. That's the end of this 9th round, an incredible round. 52 knockouts on Hagler's record and 62 victories. Sure he didn't expect to see Leonard still here on the 10th round. Even with all of the respect that he accorded Leonard, knowing it will be a tough fight.
Richard Steele continues to warn Ray Leonard for holding, Tim. Now, after a few warnings, you have to do something about it, besides warning.
I don't think we're going to see a point taken away from either of these fighters.
Hagler is just so slow getting off. Unbelievable. I don't understand why he doesn't fire that left hand to the body.
Wild miss on a trick play by Leonard, and he paid for it because Hagler tagged him.
They're both dead tired now. Look at Hagler is dead too, Tim.
Work it down, work it down.
Leonard has never been able to back up Hagler in this fight, even in the rounds in which he scored 4 points.
When he jumps back, like Tony says, you jump on him. Jump on him when he jumps back because he wants to rest, you know what I mean? Well, this is the 11th round now. We're going to get 2 more rounds. I want 2 big rounds now.
Damn it.
Hagler moving his hands without a lot of authority, but scoring some punches. The showboat again from Leonard.
Well, we have to call him the Miracle Man after this, Tim.
Well, you're not
Anybody can have that layoff. Do what he's doing tonight. He's a Miracle Man. Never been done in boxing history. Never. Whether he wins or loses. And right now, he's winning, in my opinion.
Hagler missing wide open target as Leonard just leaned back away from the punches.
Beautiful move by Leonard. Tim, he has Hagler tamed now, Tim. Hagler can't let that left hand go, Tim. He should be throwing that left hand down the pipe. Just did it then. But that's what he should be doing all along.
Leonard has played with Hagler's mind throughout the fight, and by being fresh enough here in this 11th round as he looks to his corner at the end of the round.
Deep breath. We only got 3 minutes. Yeah. Come on, baby. We got 3 minutes. One more round and fight is over. You better. New chapter.
We need it bad. Understand what I'm telling you? Now look, Bobby. Pump this time. Destroy this thing. Do it for Bertha, man. Do it for everybody. Understand? We need it. One more round and fight is over. All right. Marvin, get the monster out in there. There's a lot riding on this here. Understand? Okay. Head down to this track. And pump. And pump. Don't stop until he's down.
They beckon each other out. Does Hagler feel that it all comes down to this 3 minutes?
Well, you know, Goody Petronelli in the corner, he was talking like it's about a 15-round fight. Where you started to get him going. I mean, I would have been a little more emotional if I was in the corner. There's to the body.
There you go. We've got this close on our scorecard with Leonard slightly ahead. I think Hagler has to realize that the sentiment is just going to have to be with Leonard, that he's got to feel he's got to knock him out to retain his title.
But that's not what they tell him in the corner, Tim. They're talking to him like it's an IBM meeting or something. No emotion. Oh, good straight left hand by Hagler.
And look at Leonard just able to pick up the punches, move his head, and escape most of them. And Leonard flurries against Hagler and now escapes from the corner. Ray Leonard is having fun in there right now. What a story.
He's looking at the corner. I don't know why. Winning the fight.
Less than a minute to go in the fight. Now Hagler with a little showboat. Some shuffle back from Ray.
Look at Ray Leonard. What a cocky kid.
Well, this 30-year-old cocky kid, perhaps fainting weariness as he has a few times earlier in the bout, but also showing that psychologically and physically now he's in control.
Going to be interesting scoring, Tim. You know, do you like the plotting guy or do you like the flash?
Leonard busy on the rope. Hagler trying
There'll
to
be
keep
no
him there.
knockout. No knockout.
We have a split decision. Judge Lou Filippo scores the bout. 115, Marvin Hagler. 113, Ray Leonard. Judge Jojo Guerra scores the bout. 118, Leonard. 110, Hagler. And Judge Dane Moretti scores 115-113. By the winner, by a split decision, and new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
For Ray, Marvin, I know you're incredibly disappointed. What's your feeling about the decision?
I beat him, and he knows it, and everybody knows. I knew it was too close. I told you about Vegas. No way about it, you know.
Marvin, he also said that you had K&O in your right hands. You hoped it wouldn't go this far.
Well, you know, I figured I was beating him good, you know. Oh, geez.
Now, how about the first 2 rounds? Gil and I thought that you really gave away the first couple of rounds by boxing in the orthodox style.
I stayed aggressive. I took everything he had. I made him fight. Come on, I won the fight.
Well, I know you're tremendously disappointed, but it was a tremendous show, Marvin. This was more than anybody ever expected in terms of a great championship fight.
They stole it, you know.
Will you come back? Will there be more for you, Marvin? Will you consider another fight with this one being so close?
Not with that. No, I don't think with that. I have to talk about it. I have to think about it.
All right, Marvin Hagler.
Hagler went into isolation after the loss. His wife Bertha contended that Hagler had lapsed into a self-destructive binge of alcohol and drugs, an allegation that forced Hagler to come out of his exile to publicly deny. Hagler begged for a rematch with Leonard, but after a year of waiting, decided to cease all communication. "It's important to know when it's the end," Hagler said. "I don't go back to the gyms. I don't want to smell that smell and get that feeling again. Boxing was always my love, but that love is over." Hagler moved on with his life, making movies in the Philippines and Italy, spurning offers of over $15 million to return to the ring. He went through a divorce, and later the Boston Globe ran a column on his 1991 conviction of assaulting a girlfriend. Hagler then moved to Italy and made a new life for himself in the movie industry. "It was a very smart move the way it turned out," Hagler said. "I just thought it was time to get up and go and change the things in my life." These changes allowed Hagler to avoid the mistakes so many other fighters make by returning to the sport with fading skills. Instead, he made movies, commercials, and traveled to South Africa to visit Nelson Mandela with his new bride, Kay. On September 10, 2011, Pat Petronelli died of a stroke at the age of 89. 4 months later, Brother Goody died at the age of 88. His family said that he died of a broken heart as both his wife and brother died back to back. Goody closed the boxing gym 3 weeks prior to his death. The brothers had once described their friendship with Hagler as a triangle of friendship, the strongest geometric figure. When Hagler had returned from a trip to Africa, he gave both of the brothers a steel-wired bracelet with 5 loops. Made with hair from an elephant's tail, it symbolized eternal friendship. Marvin put it on us and said, "Friends forever," Goody said. On March 15, 2021, Hagler passed away peacefully at his home. He was 66 years old. Marvelous Marvin Hagler and the Petronelli brothers embodied the characteristics of the American dream. They remained loyal, hard-working, and determined, without any guarantees that it would pay off in the end. Hagler became not only one of the greatest middleweights of all time, but one of the greatest sports heroes of the modern era. "Well, I never wanted to be an American hero or anything like that," Hagler said. "I wanted to be a champion. And that's what I am. And that's what I'll be."